Today, we're going to dive into the incredible story of India's foreign trade. And trust me, it's a journey of absolutely massive change, from a colonial past to becoming a real heavyweight on the global economic stage. So, let's get right into it. Think about it. Before 1947, India's job in the world economy was pretty, well, simple. It was to supply raw materials, things like cotton and jute, mainly to Britain. And then, we'd buy back the finished goods they made. That system, as you can imagine, held back local industry in a big way. But fast forward to today, and the picture is completely different. We're talking about a true economic transformation. All right, so before we dig into India's amazing story, let's just make sure we're all on the same page. What exactly is foreign trade? At its heart, it's actually pretty straightforward. Foreign trade, you'll also hear it called international or external trade, is just the buying and selling of stuff between different countries. It's the whole web of transactions that connects all of us economically across the entire planet. And this trade really boils down to three main categories. First, you've got import trade. That's when India buys something, like crude oil from the Middle East. Then, of course, there's export trade. That's us selling our products, like tea or software, to the rest of the world. And then there's this really interesting third one called entrepot trade. This is where a country imports raw materials, does something to them, and then re-exports the finished product. A classic example for India is importing rough diamonds, then cutting and polishing them right here and exporting beautiful finished gems. Okay, so we've got the what, but what about the why? Why is this all so important? How does it actually help a country's economy tick? You know, this quote really nails it. Trade isn't just about moving boxes from one country to another. It's a powerful engine, a real driving force for economic development. I mean, for a lot of developed countries, trade makes up a huge slice of their entire economy. And what's amazing is just how many benefits come from firing up that engine. For starters, it brings in valuable foreign currency that can fund major projects. It pushes companies to invest and think bigger than just their home market. It also lets countries do what they do best, specialize, which makes everything more efficient for everyone. And for you and me, it means more choice, better products, and more stable prices. It's a win-win, really. Now, let's bring this all back to India's story, because this is where it gets really fascinating. We're about to see a huge shift in both what India sells and who it sells to. It's truly a tale of two different eras. So first up, let's look at what India is actually selling to the world. I'm telling you, the basket of goods we export today looks nothing, and I mean nothing, like it did before independence. The change is like night and day. Just look at this table. It tells the whole story. On the left, that's the colonial era. India was basically exporting raw materials, jute, cotton, tea. Now, look at the right side. Today, it's all about value-added, manufactured products. We're talking sophisticated engineering goods, refined petroleum products, gems and jewelry. This isn't just a change in what's in the shipping containers. It's a fundamental change in our economic identity, from a supplier of raw stuff to a producer of complex, finished goods. But hold on. This isn't a one-way street. The story of what India buys from the rest of the world, well, that's gone through a massive change too. Way back when, India was mostly importing finished consumer goods, medicines, cars, things like that. But today, the shopping list is totally different. The focus is on capital and industrial goods. These are the building blocks of a modern economy: high-tech machinery, chemicals, steel, and of course, the petroleum that fuels our industries. This shows an economy that's not just consuming, but actively building and growing from the inside out. So, here's the crucial point. This transformation is about two things. It's not just the what that has changed, it's also the who. The entire map of India's trade relationships has been completely redrawn. Before independence, let's be honest, trade was overwhelmingly with Britain. But now, just look at this chart. The really remarkable thing here is that huge slice, over 43% of exports, going to other developing nations. That diversification, that move away from just one major partner to a whole network of countries, shows a much stronger, more independent trade policy. Okay, with all this buying and selling zipping across borders, you might be wondering, how on earth do we keep score? So let's look at how economists actually measure all this activity. You'll hear two terms thrown around a lot: balance of trade, or BOT, and balance of payments, BOP. The key difference is just how much they're looking at. Think of the balance of trade as a very narrow snapshot. It only looks at physical, visible goods. Did we sell more cars than we bought? Simple. But the balance of payments, that's the big picture. It's the full record of every single economic transaction, including services like IT support and capital like foreign investments. The BOP, that's what gives you the full story. And this visual really sums it up perfectly. When a country sells more to the world than it buys, it's got a trade surplus. More money is coming in than going out. But when it's the other way around, when imports are greater than exports, that's a trade deficit. And trust me, understanding that balance is absolutely critical for any government trying to manage its economy. So, from being just a colonial supplier to a global powerhouse in manufacturing and services, India's trade journey has been nothing short of amazing. It really is the story of the nation's economic rise. And that leaves us with one big question. As the world keeps changing, as supply chains shift and new tech comes online, what will the next chapter of India's foreign trade story look like?